Clay Holmes was a great acquisition by the New York Mets because he could fill any number of holes in that pitching depth chart. The plan, I know, is to stretch him out as a starter and fill one of those spots that was vacated by Severino, Minaya, and Quintana. And the last two, as of right now, at 2:43 in the morning on Sunday the 8th, those two remain free agents, while Severino is now, of course, with the Sacramento A's. Now, if Holmes can stick it as a starter, that's a win for the Mets. Remember, he did start some games for the Padres in 2018. And if he can't stick it as a starter, he falls back into a long relief, well, that's also a win for the Mets because they also need help there too. And furthermore, a guy who led the league in blown saves last season, might never be asked to close a game for the Mets, at least over the next 3 seasons. And if he doesn't opt out after year 2, of course. And that's a great thing. Clay Holmes could be the ultimate setup man to Edwin Diaz. I think, and if you're a fan of my show, you know I talked about it for a long time, that is where Clay Holmes belongs. The ultimate setup man role. I think he's going to excel there. And I think that's ultimately where he ends up. Because the only cautionary tale, I would say, is look no further than Jabbar Chamberlain, who in this grand experiment tried to cut it as a starter, and it ruined him altogether pretty much. So I know Jabbar Chamberlain probably he only had 2 pitches pretty much. He had a 4-seam fastball and a slider. He mixed in the rare rare curveball, the rare sinker, and maybe that's what got him in trouble as a starter. We'll see what happens with Clay Holmes. I mean, his lefty-righty splits aren't all too different. He's got one of the best ground ball rates in the league, and he's added a 4th pitch. So not only is he a sinker, slider, sweeper kind of guy, he's now got a 4-seam fastball. So it might work, but if it doesn't, the Mets could use him to fill another hole along that pitching depth chart. So in the grand scheme of things, the Mets still need help in many different positions in their pitching, barracks or whatever you want to call it. But Clay Holmes is a perfect addition to that team because he can help out in a meaningful way any one of those holes, any one of those spots. So it's a great signing by the New York Mets, a shrewd signing by the New York Mets. Clay Holmes not as a closer. I think a rebound year is incoming. Good job, New York Mets.